A phrase that I've seen used a lot in the last few years is, "You just don't like this character because she's a woman." This is repeated a lot after someone criticizes a character like Rey, Captain Marvel, Reva, Rose, Claire from Jurassic World, or She-Hulk. This is the response you usually get from people defending these characters, from criticism saying they're boring, unlikable, unnaturally good at things, or that the way they're written ruins the characters around them. A quick look through the last 50 years of movies and TV shows proves this wrong pretty fast. I don't know about you, but I don't hear a lot of people complaining about the way Ahsoka, Jyn Erso, Michonne, Carol, Kim Wexler, Arya Stark, Padme, Leia, Ellen Ripley, Gamora, Nebula, Natasha Romanoff, Sarah Connor, Cersei Lannister, or Olenna Tyrell are written. This claim of a double standard between male and female characters is clearly just false. If that's the case though, why are so many of these newer heroes and villains so boring? What's the trick to writing good female characters?
It's really very simple. So even if you're stupid, which you very may well be, you can understand it.
You write them the same way you would write any other character. Being a woman should not be treated like a personality trait or like it's a superpower. You're not making women look weak when you show that a character can fail, be overwhelmed, be wrong about something, or need guidance from a mentor. What you are doing is showing that that character is human. They have flaws, weaknesses, room for growth. Those are the aspects of a character that get the audience invested in them, and that's what makes them interesting and why it's satisfying to see them overcome the parts of themselves that are holding them back from what they want. You know what isn't interesting? Perfect characters. The reason these new protagonists are failing varies on a case-by-case basis. I mean, were they even trying in Jurassic World? Claire should literally be the villain of the movie. She seems to be more worried about finding the kids so that her sister isn't mad at her, rather than because she cares about them at all. And she chooses not to close the park when a super dinosaur is loose so that they can make more money. She connects with the kids a bit at the end, but that definitely doesn't redeem her for all the people she got killed. Their main character should literally be in prison. If having more women be leading roles in projects is a big priority for these studios, they need to write them more thoughtfully, and they need to build them from the ground up. They want to push female characters, but they're doing it in all the wrong ways. No one is going to like it if you hijack something they love and destroy it by shoving a new character in where they don't help the story. Look at Obi-Wan Kenobi. They literally pretended to kill the Grand Inquisitor when everyone knows that he lives, just to get him out of the way for a few episodes so they could shove a less interesting, poorly developed villain right down your throat. If you want more female characters, write new stories for them that are good. I mean, they want to push these characters even more desperately than I want to get you guys to subscribe.
It's called a contract.
Fine.
Beautiful initial here, and here, and here. Not here!
Most of the time, they don't have enough faith in them to give them their own project, and when they do, they rely on the star power of already established characters being involved. Unfortunately, these cameos usually involve tearing down the old characters in order to prop up the new ones. Or, instead of giving them their own show or movie, they shove them into something you already love so they can trick you into watching it. They know you love The Mandalorian, so they advertise the show like that's what it is, and then give you something else. You know, and that's not how this is supposed to work. These are entertainment companies. We tell you what we want, you make it, and then we pay you for it. You don't tell us that what we want is stupid and that we're evil for wanting it. They're literally dangling franchises that we love in front of us, advertising the product as being that, and then giving us what they have decided we need to see. There is nothing wrong with making women the main character of stories, but if that's what you want to do, make new stories for them, and write them the way you would write any other character. If you want to push Reva as a new character, make a show about the Inquisitors. Don't shove her into a story already overflowing with villains because you know we'll watch it since we want to see Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. If you want Rey to be the main character of the sequel trilogy, that's great, but write her like a real human being and don't tear down characters that we already love just to make her look better. If you want to make Bo-Katan important, give her a show. I personally think she works better as a villain, but there's nothing wrong with changing her character a bit to be a hero. She's likable and written pretty well. The problem is that instead of naturally fitting her into the story, you stole Din Djarin's character arc and gave it to her. They reduced the main characters of The Mandalorian to hanging out in the background while she does everything. They literally stole the show. And calling people hateful for seeing this happen and being like, yeah, that sucks, isn't really a valid defense of poor writing. I'm not saying that you can't take a risk and give people something unexpected every now and then to see if it sticks, because I don't think anyone knew we wanted a Saul Goodman spinoff or for Anakin to have an apprentice. But you need to do it in a natural way, and if it's not working, you have to stop. And I think it's crazy that people really buy into it when these companies accuse their fans of hating these characters for being strong women. Especially in Star Wars, which is a franchise full of strong women that fans love. I've never heard anyone call Padme, Leia, Ahsoka, or Jyn Erso a Mary Sue. It's even more ridiculous when Disney executives say this, because Jyn Erso is a character that was created by their studio. And she's great, because she's written like a real human. She's not magically better than everyone else at everything, and she has actual development as a character. I've never heard anyone complain about Kim Wexler being a main character on Better Call Saul, Arya Stark being a badass on Game of Thrones, or Michonne's role in The Walking Dead. That's because the writers actually put a lot of effort into creating these characters like actual people. Who can't empathize with Michonne or Arya losing their families, or Carol learning to recover from a relationship with her abusive husband? I don't know if they think the people watching what they make are just an isolated group of the population or what, but people are fans of more than one franchise. The people that hate your female characters are the same people that love these ones. What's actually sexist here is the way that these studios are treating the gender of their characters as though it's a defining personality trait. Being female is not a substitute for a character arc. A character being treated unfairly because they're a woman is not character depth. You can make that a part of their story and show how it's changed their outlook on life, but they still have to have their own motivations, values, and personalities. Jon Snow being treated badly for being a bastard and Tyrion for being a dwarf doesn't define who they are, just helps explain why they are the way they are. She-Hulk is the absolute worst example of this. They made a character who has so much self-pity and is so self-obsessed that she claims that her life of just existing as a woman is harder than that of a man who's been hunted for years, has fought multiple times to save the world, has had his friends die, who becomes possessed by a raging monster and hurts people, and who even attempted to kill himself because of it. And the thing is, even if that was true, and her life is harder, her saying that makes us really dislike her because that shows she's the type of person that thinks because she's had a harder life than other people, that their pain and suffering doesn't matter. And it shows that she doesn't have any empathy for anyone else. And it would be a different story if the purpose of this scene was to start a character arc of her learning to be a better person throughout the show, but that's not what it is. The people writing this show thought this was actually a good basis to make a likable protagonist. I mean, I just don't see why this is so difficult for them to figure out. They act like writing good female leads is a new thing that's never been done before. Kim Wexler is just as much of a lead in Better Call Saul as Jimmy or Mike, and she is one of the best, not even just female characters, but TV characters ever. She's given just as much depth and personality as Saul, and the show even acknowledges that she's a tougher person than Jimmy is, and you don't see anybody getting upset about it. I mean, if they can flesh out Mon Mothma in a great way in Andor, I don't understand why this isn't bleeding over into their other properties. All you have to do is take that picture-perfect character and add a little bit of gray in there. Give them an actual arc. I mean, Black Widow's not the most complex character in the world, and it took a couple movies to get her right, but they've done something really good with her. Why can't they do that with these other heroes? This is not a woman-hating conspiracy. It's a writing problem. When did all these studios get together and decide that being a strong woman means being arrogant, narcissistic, and disrespectful? There is no difference between what makes a strong woman and a strong man. What attributes do your favorite characters have? Empathy, perseverance, a sense of responsibility, integrity, caring for their family? Until Hollywood looks at why people love these characters and hate these ones, I don't think we can expect women to get a lot of quality representation in media. But that's going to do it for this one. Drop who your favorite female character is and why in the comments below, and like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And with that, I'll catch you all in the next episode of HeadCannon.